Penelope, talk me through the process of coming out of this. So getting up to, you said 320 pounds.
Yeah.
And then you had a realization a few years ago and you were like, all right, I want to take action.
My whole life, I was always a little overweight and I was always really struggling with that. Like literally at the age of 6, I like the huge bags of goldfish, like I ate a whole box at my friend's house. Like that's how young it started because all we had in our house was flax seeds and chia seeds. You know, that was like our home, which is great. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for not giving me processed GMOs. But I really struggled as I got older because I wanted to rebel against her because she kind of hated herself. And I saw her look in the mirror and pick on herself and say like, oh, I'm kind of ugly or I don't look good today. And I was like, I hate the way I look because I hate the way I look and you look amazing and you hate yourself even though you do yoga every day and you tell me I'm pretty. How could I ever believe you when you're telling me that I'm pretty but you don't like yourself? You must think I'm really ugly and be lying to me if you don't think you're pretty and you think I'm pretty, because it just didn't make sense to me. And the more she hated herself, the more I hated myself. Not that it's her fault, but that was the pattern I followed as I grew up. And I was like, okay, well, I hate myself. There's nothing I can do. I didn't think at the time there was anything I could do to be a smaller, prettier version of myself. And I just never thought I was pretty. And I also had like a bad relationship with my father at the time. So I also hated him. So I never let him in my life to teach me anything or show me anything because I had this negative narrative about him. So once I started to realize like maybe I should spend time with my dad. Maybe he's not the worst person. Maybe I shouldn't let myself be Me Too'd. You know, maybe I should actually spend some time with him. And slowly I realized, okay, I can get out of this, but I have to work really hard on a bunch of different areas in my life. And it took me a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to realize all of that. So the first step I took was actually the method when I was 11. I decided with my mom, I was like, Mom, why doesn't everyone just step it up? And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, they just go from a double cheeseburger one week to a single cheeseburger the next, to a turkey burger the next, and then a turkey burger on lettuce bun, and then a salad. And she's like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like that's a great idea. And I was like, yeah, because then, you know, I saw all the diets failing people and I was like, this just sucks. Like you shouldn't have to drink water for your life or eat salmon every day only to lose weight. And, you know, there should be some real way to sustainably lose weight. And so I ended up taking that advice from my younger self because I tried keto, I tried Weight Watchers, paleo, you know, I tried every diet. I tried HCG injections, which made me so sick.
CG, what's that?
It's like a hormone that they use for pregnant women actually that they use for women to suppress their appetite. So I was eating 800 calories every day, injecting myself, and I lost a lot of weight. Then I gained it all back.
Gotcha.
So I'd always lose weight and then gain it all back because these weren't sustainable tools for weight loss. These were programs that want to benefit off of your money, but then don't actually want to help you because you always fail and want to go back. So I decided to go from Burger King, which is what I was eating every day. I had like 2 double cheese bacon burgers with 2 things of French fries and a milkshake. And I know, right? I couldn't believe I could down all that. That's crazy. It's a lot. And then I went to Chipotle. So I just started eating Chipotle burritos every week. And then slowly from Chipotle burritos, I went to a Chipotle bowl with rice. And then I eliminated the rice. And then the next thing you know, I'm eating, you know, tons of vegetables, of chicken and beans, and like I'm good now. Like I started actually slowly losing weight, and I enjoyed it. It wasn't miserable or torturous. And I just did 1 hour of exercise every day that I loved. That was fun. So I wasn't just on the treadmill for an hour. No, I was actually moving my emotions, which is very interesting because I saw all these workout programs and tried them, but they weren't fun. They was like, ugh, working out. But then I did these more emotional regulation workouts, which actually helped me move my emotions.
What does that mean?
It means that when you're doing a jumping jack, you kind of like, let's say you're doing like this, you like kind of release anything you may have. So like if I'm angry, I'll release it with like my hands, like kind of like a motion. Like when you go like this, you're pushing someone away. That's kind of what it was. Like it's just kind of like a dance exercise, cardio.
Well, and you mentioned earlier that, you know, it's in principle, it's really easy to lose weight. But it isn't because we have such a huge problem. 1 in 3 children are now obese.
It's 1 in 3 now.
It's 1 in 3. Like in 2028, they expect 43.5% of the population to be obese. I mean, this is a real problem for insurance companies, for us. It's expensive. It's a problem. And so I think that the psychological and emotional regulation is a huge part of this equation that isn't really being addressed with just food and fitness. And so Penelope heard me with doing these crazy workouts. And it's really like intentional. Like you go in and you're like, okay, I had to be buttoned up for my work and my life, you know, but you know what? This conversation didn't complete. This didn't work out in business. This relationship failed. The life, you know, all the things that happen for all of us. And then what do you do with those emotions? Well, people who are obese are usually eating them. They wear their heart on their sleeve and they're stuffing it down. and then they're obese. And so Penelope heard me in the morning. She's like, what is mom doing? Like, it was crazy. And then so then she joined me. Like, our first like really big breakthrough was just having dinner at the table because she refused to eat my food. And I'm like a gourmet chef.
Gourmet chef. Your food is amazing. I am still so sorry that I've rejected your food my whole life.
And I'm like on my knees in the kitchen, like my own daughter won't eat my food. Like, what's wrong? You know? But regardless, this movement thing, it was a really, really big part of the puzzle. And there were times where she gave up and she walked out, times she was sobbing and had like a really big breakthrough. And so you bring your attention to it and you're really clear about what you're working with. Let the body take over because the body has the wisdom. The mind will lie to you all day. And then you really work it through. And I think women especially need a practice like this. Yeah, you're going to get tight, a tight ass. You're going to get a six pack. Great. But more than that, you're going to like clear and move your emotions.
There are so many interesting directions we can go. I was wondering, Helene, as Penelope was telling that story, what was all that like from your perspective?
I mean, I'm seeing it in my mind.
Okay.
I'm seeing that trip in Hawaii when she wanted the ice cream that the other girls were getting. And then afterwards, she wanted me to buy her fudge. And I had a breakdown. I'm like, how can I enable you and have to deal with your social anxiety and still be the one buying you the ice cream and buying you the fudge? And I'm like, no. And then if I don't, then I am, a horrible mother who's abandoning her daughter and who's,
Is that what you were worried about, or is that what you were worried
well,
about?
her therapist also,
Oh, I see.
like, and her doctor. And like, I'm thinking like, because I'm working with them and I'm like, come on guys, like what's the plan here? Because I don't know what to do. I mean, I was an obese young woman and I understand what it's like. I didn't get to the extent that Penelope got to. But so I'm just remembering all those moments. And I'm also remembering the agony and the tears and the screaming. Like I remember like being at your door, it's dark in there and I know God knows what she's doing. And I'm like holding the door and she's big, tall, she's strong.
300 pounds.
And I'm like holding the door, and she's like trying to slam it. And I'm like, no, she's not going to close this door. And I'm like, I might lose my nose. I might break my face. Like I took all of my might to be like, this door is not closing. And just the desperation of it all. And I know that our situation is not unique. And the help that I could find was not there. And we had money and we had access. We had like top doctors, top people. But the nutritional psychology is like a new field. And people don't understand that it's like this snowball effect because of the chemicals in the food. And because of, like you said, the cheap food. Like it's so much more expensive to buy broccoli than it is, a hamburger or, some other very inexpensive food that's going to cause cancer and diabetes and heart disease eventually. And it's a really, really tricky problem to solve. And of course, I'm thinking that way because this is happening to her, I'm helping thousands of people lose weight and get fit and get healthy. And it's like, I felt like, I didn't feel like a fraud, but I felt so like, how can I help her? And I felt really helpless. And I knew I did everything I possibly could.
Yeah.
You did kind of scam me though when you told me I was pretty and then told
No,
me
I
to
always thought you were
exercise.
pretty.
But that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's the whole body positive thing. Like, let's just be honest, Mom. I was not pretty when I was
think
320 pounds.
The thing I'm embarrassed about is I like bribed you to lose weight.
No, I think
I
that's
shamelessly bribed her.
Yeah, how so?
She set up a chart and she was like, okay, 10 pounds, $10 in a new dress. 20 pounds, $20 in a new dress.
Okay.
30 pounds and, you get like 30 extra dollars,
Okay.
And I think this is a great system. If your child,
Like it worked.
yeah, if your child is,
I was like, I'll pay you to swim. I'll give you $300 a season. I was like, come on, tennis, volleyball, anything. Like,
but this is a great system to me. Like, why aren't more moms doing that? That is a great system. That's a
didn't
great
work.
system.
You didn't
Kids
play
want
it
money and they want to buy cute things. It's true. It's true.